Hello and welcome to BQ Prime. You're joining us on this special conversation around HDFC Limited. As you know, HDFC Limited, India's largest housing finance company, is going to merge with HDFC Bank and they will become a singular entity in the coming days. And to join us in this conversation, we have with us Mr. Renu Sud Karnad, the MD of HDFC. Ma'am, first question, how did this journey at HDFC start for you?
First, good morning, and it was a wonderful journey. It's in a way a little funny journey because I got this job and I wasn't looking for this job. I had a job with the then parent of HDFC, and that's where I came, was interviewed, and then I was told that this new company was being set up. Nobody knew what this company was going to be about. And before I knew, I had an offer. And so I said, it makes a lot more sense. Bird in hand is worth two in a bush. So I opted for it. I didn't know what I was opting for it at that time because I soon realized at a young age when you join how empowering this job was. Yeah. There was a social angle to it. You were helping people, a home, which is the most important asset. I honestly didn't know when I said yes to that job that what was the role that this company is going to play in creating the most valuable asset that we Indians have. And I'm so glad that I did that. So I should say, in some ways, I stumbled into something that I learned to love. Yeah. I've been working here for 45 years. I really don't know what I'm going to do next Monday because I am raring to come to work every day. But I think it's in good hands, and I'm sure, that the bank is going to do a great job of it. But I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. So if somebody ever asked me, would you change anything that you've done? I honestly would say no.
Okay, that's great. So let me first, try and understand HDFC as an institution, right? So you were there when nothing was there at this company. How have you seen it evolve into now the largest housing finance company out there?
Not only the largest housing finance company, actually one of the largest financial institutions. And as a group, once we merge, we are going to be the fourth or the fifth largest financial institution by market cap in the world, right? So very honestly, when we started, the customer centricity that we had, the values of customer commitment, of doing the business the right way, I think nothing of that has changed. And I'm so happy it hasn't changed because there have been many imperatives during these years where we could have done things not the right way, but we stuck to what we thought was right, what we thought was right for the customer, was right for ourselves, was right for our stakeholders. And I think that is not going to change even after we merge. I can proudly say that all the companies that were set up in HDFC post, are being set up, starting with the bank, the life, AMC, Ergo, Credila, the funds. Yeah. I think that philosophy has stayed right through. What has changed and what is going to change is the scale. The scale is huge. When we're looking at, what we can do, and we are at about 500 odd branches today. Once we merge, we're going to be 7,500 branches, growing at 1,500 branches a year. So the scale is enormous. The transactions are enormous. We were a one-product company. We are a one-product company. As we move in, we are going to be moving to a very multi-product company, touching every aspect of a person's life. So I think it is just going to be a whole new vision, a whole new horizon. It's going to be absolutely fantastic to be able to now, with the housing loans, cover our middle-income population of India.
Yeah. I've always been curious, the housing finance in the HDFC name, housing finance, I understand. That's a business that you've been doing for now longer than most other people have been alive, at least not more than me. But what's the development role that HDFC has followed?
Oh, huge. See, when we started, actually people laughed at our chairman, the then chairman H.D. Parekh. Nobody is going to give you back money. We had no foreclosure laws. He bet on the goodness of the Indian middle class, that if they are giving money, they will return it, with no laws. That is literally Practically, no. Of course, you could go to the courts and that would take you 15 years.
Yeah.
You know, that faith in the middle income India was absolutely amazing. But as we were growing, as things changed, and you know, even our country's changed hugely. We all know that the way principles, what our parents and our grandparents held, have been diluted to some extent. So we really worked so hard to get the foreclosure laws. So that was a huge development of the sector. It was not for HDFC, it was of the sector, actually. The products that we came up with, there was a product that you could have just given a loan and got your money back in 15 years. But then you realize over 15 years, people start earning more, or people start earning less once they retire. So the new products that we got in, albeit some of them we learned from the foreign markets, from the British markets, the UK markets, the US markets, but we got them into the system where people could get higher loans, could play with the installment based on their incomes. So I think there was innovation of the product at every given time to suit the need, and that really happened down up. The customer talked to our frontline. The frontline said, this is what is the demand. And that's how we very quickly, see, one of the things is we are a very small organization.
Yeah.
And decision making is very quick. We are very agile.
Right.
We don't need too many boards and too many things to take decisions.
Yeah.
There's a board, and there's below them there's a management. And if a decision has to be taken, it can be taken very quickly.
Right.
So we came out with products, we came out with methodologies of doing it. And then towards the last 10 years, with technology becoming so important, we actually invested in the best of technology that we could get. Whether it was for our home loan borrowers or for people who were coming and putting money with us. I'll share one instance with you.
Sure.
We were a company out of nowhere.
Right.
People were giving money to us, deposits. Everybody, we were not government, we were not a bank. There was great faith in our people who ran the company. Right? But at the same time, when we introduced something where you could come in, you put a deposit with us. I'm now talking about 25 years ago,
right.
30 years ago.
Sure.
And you wanted your money back. You could just come, sit at the reception, in a half an hour's time, take your check home. That one innovation actually made such a difference in our ability to collect deposits, because people thought, whenever I need the money, I'll get it.
Yeah.
They thought they always have money to pay me back, so I'm safe. So, these little things that were happening
Sort of
throughout.
cemented the faith.
Absolutely.
I'm also curious to understand, once this merger is done, right? People in my family have loans from HDFC Limited. But what happens to these customers? How does life change for them?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing at all. The bank is going to continue to service them. In fact, the bank's technology levels are even better, right? There were some of the things that we were not doing right now, but they're a bank, so they can do.
Yeah.
So I think as far as our current customers are concerned, they should have no problem. There are helplines, there are people who are even waiting as we are talking today, things are being put in place. Nothing will change.
Yeah.
For the new customer, actually, 7,000 odd branches are going to be opened to be able to get loans. As far as our online applications are concerned, today 95% of our business comes through online, right? The traffic that you see on the bank side and the way the technology can be handled, actually, we're going to be able to distribute home loans to every corner of the country, and then have the bank branches and our erstwhile branches there to be able to service people, to be able to talk to them.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a big synergy between the two between the two of us, and we'll take this product very, very far.
Okay. Coming to the deposit side of the story, now, of course, all of these customers move to the bank as bank depositors. But does anything change for them in terms of?
So it's like this: whatever you have with us today, if you have, a 1 lakh deposit with us today at an X rate of interest, and that's going to mature in 25, nothing is going to happen. The same thing will
Continues.
In 25, you will get your money back along with the deposit that we have, contracted.
Given. Yeah.
Thereafter, if you want to continue and you want to, place the deposit back with the bank, then of course it's going
The bank's rates apply.
whatever the bank's rates are at that time, point in time.
Okay. now I want to come back to HDFC as an entity again. One of the things that I was very curious about is when you started, you mentioned that, people were like, who are you? We don't know. Why should we place our money with you? On the other end is also your borrowing side of the market. So how have these things evolved in terms of when you initially came in, you didn't have the AAA rating, you didn't have the name.
There was a time in the early 80s, we nearly had to think twice, will we have money to disburse the next week?
Yeah.
All right. And we had major problems because, there was this company asking for money. How much should we give them? Will they ever get that money back?
Yeah.
Right. We had the capital, which we used up. IFC, Washington gave us a line of credit. So, but the money was drying up. So at that time, the World Bank, we got a line from the World Bank. And I tell you, there was no looking back after
Yeah.
that. First, we had the Thappa. The World Bank is looking at us as a credible institution. Second, we got the money. And, as a philosophy, we've always said that we need a certain spread. And on that spread, we will work. We were never greedy that spread should become double. If we were able to, increase our spreads, we passed it to the customer. And for at least the first 15 years, we were the ones who used to set the rate. Okay. So I think that confidence that people had in us, and they kept coming back and the business kept growing. World Bank saw that. It was a very unusual situation to be a private sector company being able to do this. And I think they backed us. I think once that happened, we started getting lines from banks. And then, of course, as I said, it was around the time later when we realized, why not have deposits? We're giving people money. People trust us. Maybe they'll trust us with their deposits. So, actually people used to retire. We did a huge, big program with the army.
Yeah.
So when these army officers used to retire, they had become so comfortable with us. They used to come and put their funds with us. I can't tell you how many people we used to say, don't put everything with HDFC. Put something elsewhere, but put some with us. That was the confidence, because they had experienced, a
level of service early on.
That is what it was.
You were the first HDFC official to hand over a home loan check to the customer.
Yes.
I want to know if you can tell me a little bit about the story. How did that pan out?
It was a lovely story. I was then in the legal department. The first thing we are giving in.
Yeah.
And we did the disbursement. And then there was a document that I was supposed to collect, and I somewhere didn't collect that document. The next morning, my boss says, where is that document? I said, I think I gave it back to the customer. For the next 1.5 days, they were, the fellow used to live somewhere in Malad, which at that time was the back of beyond. We had to run around to get the document, from there. But so that was it. His name is Mr. Remedios. He was I don't think he's there anymore, but, it was a great thing. And the house that he built was actually very humble and very nice. And so that was my first thing there.
Fair enough. Coming to the merger side of the story, so once this merger is done, first I want you're heading a lot of the integration groups that are there between the bank and
IC. We have an IC, 3 from their side, 3 from my side.
So what's the scope of this integration looking like?
Massive.
Yeah.
So we have something like 31 verticals. Vertical for everything, but that's what it has to be. It has to be merged externally, it has to be merged internally, it has to be merged as far as accounts is concerned, as IT is concerned. And so we've done a very thorough job with people from their sides and people from our side. It's been a great teamwork together, and hopefully we shall see how well it works on the 30th, and I'm sure it will work very well. So it's been a very, what the word should be, harmonious, and it's been full of camaraderie. And I think more than anything else, it is we are getting into something which we have to and will make a success of. And I think that's the spirit which is there on both the sides.
All right, I want to close this off with what do you foresee the next 5 or 10 years like for this sort of conglomerate, this massive sort of giant that is creating?
The bank is a juggernaut, and the bank's distribution is fantastic. So I think huge growth in home loan penetration in our insurance business. Today the HDFC Life, the bank sells the life products, the non-life products, the AMC products. Till now, the bank was selling the parents, subsidiaries' products. So it was like they were selling their brothers or sisters' products. Now they're going to be the parent. So I think there's going to be a huge ownership there. I think people who were coming to the bank and were taking different products from different entities will see the merit in staying with the group. And I really feel that the next 5 years, with India's GDP being the best, being one of the few countries, that is going to see growth in the way, I think it's just going to be another 5-10 years of very good performance. And as far as housing is concerned, please believe me, I think for the next 10 years, all of us Indians need homes.
Yeah.
And then the new population keeps coming. So I think it's a great anchor product to have. It just cements your relationship with the entity.
Got it, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us on this conversation.
Thanks a lot.